All right, welcome back to Wake Up America. Surprise, surprise. Democrats in New York who like to talk about the Constitution and the rule of law have no problem playing politics when it hurts Republicans.
Yeah, so new reports claim state Democrat leaders may pass a new law to delay the special election to replace Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, who was nominated to serve as U.S. ambassador to the UN by President Trump. Of course, that would keep the solid red seat open, and that shrinks the House majority.
Now, 6 Republican lawmakers from New York have sent a letter to Governor Kathy Hochul saying, "We demand you cease any and all such attempts to change this law, and in preparation of this conspiratory, corrupt act that clearly threatens the constitutional rights of American citizens, we will also be alerting the Department of Justice."
Yeah, so joining us now for more is New York Assemblyman Matt Slater. Great to see you, Mr. Assemblyman. So you serve as the ranking Republican on the state's election law committee, and we're the first to sound the alarm on what is going on. So tell us more about what Democrats in your state are trying to do.
Well, thank you so much for having me this morning. The Democrats are proving once again to really provide the most corrupt state government in all of the country. Here in New York, Democrats control every aspect of state government, and once again, we're seeing them playing with politics. And they have a long history of doing this in the last few years. Whether it's their attempt to gerrymander congressional districts, they've completely stacked the Court of Appeals here in New York, and they've also prevented people from going to courthouses, only allowing 4 courthouses to be used to challenge election laws. The level of corruption, it brings you back to Tammany Hall. And unfortunately, Tammany Hall corruption is alive and well here in the state capital of New York.
So, Assemblyman, so help me out here a little bit. So in New York law, the governor has 10 days to announce a special session once the seat is vacated. Now, Congresswoman Stefanik has not resigned because she has not obviously been confirmed yet as UN ambassador. If she were to resign today, wouldn't that start the clock and force the governor to name it? Or could Democrats still try to sneak in and get this law passed in 10 days?
The Democrats were desperately trying to sneak this law in. There has been no proposal to this moment. In fact, Democrats this morning saying that they are pausing this proposal because of the pressure that we've been able to apply to the governor and to the legislature. But as we saw with congestion pricing, a pause from the governor is meaningless because all it's going to do is allow her to act later in time. So the good news is that if Congresswoman Stefanik does, in fact, resign shortly, that the clock would start allowing the 21st Congressional District to have a special election to make sure they have proper representation in Washington.
And we know that Florida has already announced it will hold special elections to replace their 2 vacant House seats on April 1st. So New York Governor Kathy Hochul has been silenced, meaning Elise Stefanik's seat could be vacant until the scheduled primary elections. That's in June. So how do you plan on fighting this?
Well, I was with Congressman Lawler just yesterday, and the congressman and Congressman Langworthy are talking about asking DOJ, as you've reported, to come in and take a look at the actions by New York State when it comes to election laws. Because the fact of the matter is that the New York State Democrats are proving time and again that when it fits their interests, they are able and willing to act. But when you talk to average New Yorkers who are suffering in so many ways, we are waiting for that same level of leadership. And unfortunately, we have a feckless governor who only acts when it's politically advantageous to her or her party. New Yorkers have had it. 57% of New Yorkers now want a new governor, according to a poll released just yesterday by Siena College. And this exact episode just proves once again why New Yorkers are so frustrated with state government.
So sadly, Assemblyman, it's not just Governor Hochul who's got the problem. Yesterday, State Attorney General Letitia James put out a warning to all hospitals in New York to ignore Trump's ban on, well, I'm not going to call it gender-affirming care, but trans surgeries on minors, saying if they carry those out, they'd be violating state law. But the feds have been very clear, do it and your Medicare and Medicaid funding is at risk.
Yeah, once again, you're seeing there's this constant combatant of the state government of New York when it comes to President Trump's agenda. And we all know that President Trump has been on fire in the first early days of his administration, doing exactly what he told the American public he would do. He'd put America first. Unfortunately, here in New York, whether it is about sanctuary policies, whether it's about the trans surgeries for minors. The governor and the attorney general are trying to stop him every step of the way instead of actually listening to the people and helping President Trump get his agenda across the finish line.
While I have you here, I want to ask you about the congestion pricing. We know that Donald Trump and Kathy Hochul spoke last week about possibly ending it here in New York. Do you see an end to this?
I am praying for an end. In fact, later today in the Transportation Committee, there's a vote to give commuters in Syracuse a break on tolls. Why aren't we doing the same for commuters out of Long Island, in the Hudson Valley, and in the outer boroughs? Especially when you talk to our police officers, our firefighters, our EMTs, our teachers, all the folks who provide essential services. Why are they being really taxed to go to work? It is an absurd policy. It is wrong. And I've been working with Congressman Lawler, and he's been speaking directly with President Trump to stop this ridiculous tax from coming through. Now, we have Yano Lieber coming before the Transportation Committee budget hearing tomorrow, and I can't wait. You're showing the celebration he hosted, celebrating congestion pricing. I can't wait to ask him questions about all this, but we are very hopeful here that President Trump is going to stop this ridiculous tax that is hurting New Yorkers every day.
Yeah,
can only imagine what it would mean for the voters in New York and New Jersey who are already moving right if he actually did it. New York Assemblyman Matt Slater, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.